Yeah, hello. It is far too late to be doing this. I should not be doing this. But the problem is, the later you watch a TV show, the more tired you are. It just is longer to do this. Anyway, I just watched the season opening, the first two episodes, Dos Cerritos and Shades of Green of season 5 of Lower Decks. I enjoyed it. Pretty subversive, actually. A lot of ways I thought the episode was going to go, it didn't quite go. So, the plot of the first episodes, both of them deal with Tendi's a separate kind of plot. So maybe we should talk about Tendi first. In the first episode, she's paying off her debt that she established last season, and is being a pirate, but a pacifist pirate, which initially is like getting on the nerves of her crew. And you think it's because of traditionalists, and you think maybe the resolution is either going to be her convincing them that I've lost my what do you call it, bubble, because I didn't take is it in my hair somewhere? Is there a bubble in my hair? Or does it just fall out? Let's go free. Oh, I found a bubble. There we go. Found the bubble. Alexa, volume 0. Forgot to mute that. Oh, this was already mute that as well. Okay. What are we talking about? So yeah, the first episode basically spoke about. Oh god! See, this is what happens when you do a video reaction at 10 to 1 in the morning. Tendi's plot in the first episode, you think it's gonna go the direction of Tendi having to prove that pacifism wins the day. I mean, it kind of is how it goes, but you think that's kind of it's just that's the normal way story goes, or perhaps actually it's more of a Schadenfreude ending, and Tendi gets shown actually, maybe violence is useful sometimes. Maybe they learn a lesson. But the twist is actually that the reason why her crew are so pro-violence is actually because they want to not be violent. They want to go live their dreams and be free, but they think that the only way to do that is by being this vicious pirate who can then demand their freedom, which is a very interesting twist. And the idea of like being the thing you hate until you can get the thing you can achieve is actually a very kind of pertinent story, I think, to a lot of us, and it's nicely kind of conveyed in this kind of comedic medium, which I did enjoy. And then, so there's that kind of resolution there where Shaggy turns the boat, twists it back on them, and they reveal that secret, and they all agree to pass this together, and that's, I mean, a very kind of nice Star Trek twist. Unfortunately, means that the Blue Orions declare war on them, and now Tendi doesn't feel like she can leave. So the next episode is dealing with that. Apparently, some time has passed. The war has been going on, or the skirmishes, and the Orion Queen is like, this is bad for the economy, essentially. So you got to like resolve it in a race. A lot of Star Trek plots, I don't know if it's a recent thing or if I've just only noticed it more now than before, but there are a lot of like Star Trek stories which are resolved with a race Like there's a few in like, or at least one or two in Prodigy where they've got a race. There's at least a few in like Voyager. I remember they've got to do like a race. Anyway, they've got to do a race, and whoever wins and gets there, and the other one has to forfeit all their riches. And the extra kind of like drama there is that Tendi finds out that her sister is pregnant and to becomes overly protective, which, if I'm going to be a pedant, as a doctor, you should like be able to recognize when somebody is like, you've got to, I don't know. I don't know. From my own medical experience, a person has the capacity to make decisions, and you can't take autonomy, and a lot of the ethics of medicine is like respecting people's autonomy. So Tendi is a very effective doctor, should really understand that, but I guess it's family, right? So a lot of the kind of drama there is Tendi wanting to like refuse her sister, well, stop her sister from doing anything dangerous. And the nice kind of twist there is that her sister was like, the reason her sister was like distancing this news from Tendi was to protect Tendi, so Tendi didn't have to stay there. And it was kind of resolved in a very not clear way, but in a very naturalistic way. That just Tendi just kind of was like, actually, you know what, I need to like back off a bit, which really should have realized earlier. And you know. My cat's stealing the catnip. River! I can hear what you're doing. If I ever stand up and come stop you, I'm going to be very upset. Out! Behave. Sorry, my cat's trying to get into my drawers and nick nick his catnip, but he's going to make a mess. So yeah, that was a cute resolution to the story. Would I have preferred more prolonged growth? Perhaps. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot that that's where Tendi left last season until the episode started. And I'm like, oh yeah, she did that whole like noble sacrifice of her career thing, which after and then immediately is now like kind of being undone because she's paid off her debt, she's returned back to Starfleet, and that's presumably the end of that. But I don't know, I still kind of enjoyed it. So that was cute. With the Sweet Soda, there's two plot lines. The first episode, they basically go through a alternate universe, going through a fissure and end up in an alternate universe and deal with slightly different versions. And I do love that. I do like alternate universe storyful plots where we explore characters as like, for one, when they are slightly different versions of themselves, and use that as a character study, because that's like the epitome of character studies in a sense. But I like how this takes it to the absolute like extremis of self-awareness, in that it kind of lampshades that these are like very minute differences, like all these people are slightly different, and it kind of plays around that subject a lot. Establishes that if you were to meet your identical version but slightly different, for everyone except Boimler, they would absolutely detest each other and almost immediately come to blows and like not, you know, the complete opposite of the whole, oh, you'd be brilliant at working with yourself. I mean, it has been done before. People have done the thing where they've got like they've cloned themselves and they've immediately kind of clashed with themselves. It's not a new concept, but I do like the way that obviously Lower Decks portrays it in a very kind of Lower Decks fashion, just the whole like conflict. But we're still exploring these characters like differently. It's weird because like it's not like for like they seem to be some ages but slightly more progressed. I don't know if it was intended to be a slightly future version, slightly future alternate version of Cerritos. Everything seems a bit more mature, but maybe that's because of different circumstances. But it's fun. It's nice. I like that they did the doppelganger switch plot, but like it wasn't driving force of the plot. That was like right at the end, like a last minute kind of third arc drama, but like everyone pretty much immediately realized that something was wrong. Because the whole like swap doppelganger miscommunication drama thing can get very tiring, and I have little patience for it. So I like that that wasn't particularly like the massive part of the plot. It was just like a little joke at the end. It's kind of like a refreshing kind of like chill take on it. Um, but I think there's actually some meaningful kind of like character studies from the main characters and how they're. And it also has lasting impact, at least on Boimler. Like Boimler was the most impacted by meeting the doppelganger, and it's affected their character decisions in the next episode. And like we've got this clearer sense of progression arc, and it feels like a much more mature show. And I remember how much I hated this show in its first season because I hated it personally. Like I didn't think it was what? Oh, disgusting. Someone's being gross in my chat. I'm gonna not even engage with that because that's like just a level of yeah that I don't even want to acknowledge. And now I've lost my train of thought. Like, if you're gonna chat in the box, say something interesting. Like Boimler goes in the following episode, having taken actions that are inspired by the interaction. This was a very painfully put together sentence that I had no idea where that sentence was going to end when I started it. I had a vague direction and I went with it and I almost put together a sentence, but if you think about it more than a second, you realize it makes no sense. Or at least it's like not how a person would speak, it's how a robot would speak. I sound like AI. The interaction that Boimler had with the alternate self, which was probably the only positive interaction that any of the crew had with the alternate parts, seems to be something that, at least in the second episode, is a continuing arc, and I don't think they're going to stop at the second episode. It doesn't make much sense to stop at the second episode. And even Marina has Marina has a kind of a character goal, and the first episode does a good job of like saying everyone's kind of like character dilemmas. Marina is trying to like embrace their leadership position that's when they were actively trying to sabotage the previous season, whilst not going too much to the other side of something they didn't like. They're all kind of reacting to their new kind of position responsibilities. That's what I was saying. I remember how much I didn't like this show in the first season, and I fully accepted, even at the time, that was a personal taste problem. Like, there wasn't a show problem. The show delivered on what it promised. It was a adult comedy animated TV show that's set in the Star Trek universe. It was never disguising that fact. But for me, it was too blue, too adult humor. Not welcome to Star Trek 4. Appreciate it for it was, not for me. Stuck with it. We're glad they did so, because second season onwards, and especially this season, you can feel the maturity of the show set. And if I put, I mean, I don't want to take away from the credit to the writers. They're very clever writers. I don't have to give them too much credit to suggest that might have been very deliberate of them to have done so. To have like deliberately like made the first season very immature and the subsequent seasons less mature. But even like if we get for the first season, they have still like progressed with maturity. In this second season, this last season rather feels most mature, because you have the characters becoming not less like comedic. They still play their role very well in the context of the show's tone, but they're also like fleshed out characters with arcs, and I'm actually excited. I want to see where Mariner ends up at the end of the show. I want to see where Boimler ends up at the end of the show. Like, I'm invested in a way that I wasn't invested, was nowhere near invested in the first season. That I'm much more invested with in this season. So that's a good fact, and it progresses. Like all the concerns that Mariner had in the first episode is still being dealt with in the second episode. It used to be very episodic. There used to be not much growth in the first season, or at least I don't remember there being. Whereas now we've got much more of that. So I think this, this is like very well deserving of a 5-season run. People are like complaining that we're not getting a 6th season of Lower Decks. I mean, I suppose the TNG shows got 6, 7 seasons, right? So, I guess it is possible. Most Star Trek shows run 5 seasons, and I think Lower Decks maybe has run its course. I don't know. It's still not my favorite Star Trek. By all means, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like flipped the other way, and I'm not particularly sad to see it go. But I'm glad it stuck for a long run for as long as it did, and I'm excited to see where the characters go. Even the second episode has a bunch of twists throughout, which I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying when the show has like a lot of twists in it. Obviously, I love how I just love whenever Star Trek is just like obliquely and ashamedly anti-capitalist. That just always brings a smile on my face because, yeah, capitalism is bad. I love the robots. I love the twist because, like, obviously that it's a very well established like trope in sci-fi. If you take the household mundane robot and you make it into an evil god, but like they just strapped. I just love the concept of a robot who is told, no, you've got to be a guard, you've got to be security now, and they only half-assed the job. The robot's like, well, I'm confused because I have this like other like powering directive to guard and plants, but you've told me now to like guard humans, or guard people, and this is so confusing, and they don't know what to do. And the line where it's like all these like jumbled up commands, I have no idea what I'm gonna do, and I might just be dangerous. And it's just that for me was like the peak humor, and that's something that you can get away with in a show like this. So I really did like that. I hope the pointers doesn't stick. That annoyed me, but that was a minor gripe. Um, self like humor is really funny. The whole like, the jokes are so good. The whole thing of, oh no, we need like to avoid Starfleet, we need to like go off the grid, and it's like you're basically saying you live in a post capitalist commune. Like that's a very clever joke to make. Like you'll appreciate the joke when you think about it. And then obviously now Tenny's come back, so we're gonna get the gang back together, all 5 of them. What other points did I need to make, River? This momentum's gone now, and I'm like, momentum's started now. I'm like, oh, I can make more points. But also, I'm like, it's 1 a.m, and I should probably go to bed because I need to be up in like 6 hours. I need to clean my flat. That is a tip. Was there anything else in this episode to bring up? I don't know. I was feeling very sentimental. So at the end of the episode, I got a bit teary when they all reunited. I don't actually know entirely why. But it gave me a nice kind of bittersweet feeling. Maybe I was just feeling sad for myself. Any final points you want to bring up, River, about the episode? Or are you just gonna chill there? Nope, nothing from River. That's all for me. Today is technically Friday, which is Agatha All Along Day, but I'm going to a wedding. Well, I'm going to a wedding reception, but it's probably the first wedding invite I've ever actually gotten that's been outside my family. So I'm kind of excited, and I'm going there. Oh, and I'm wearing my Starfleet uniform because the people who are getting married, one's a D&D player that I play with. And they I think I jokingly mentioned like it's because I mentioned about how everyone there was like nerds and like just come whatever you're comfortable in as long as it's like smart. And I think I made a joke on the Discord about, oh, I could come wearing my number one Starfleet uniform, and they were like, "Well, we're cutting the cake with a bath lift, so it would actually work." And so I bought a, what era uniform is it? River Galloway. What 23? Where's my mouse gone? Starfleet uniform. It's a 2370 era number one Starfleet uniform. I bought it 2017 at the 50th anniversary Star Trek convention, Destination Star Trek in Birmingham, off a random cosplayer who was cosplaying as Data. I bought it off him, and I've never worn it because I've never had a reason to wear it. Don't even, yeah, I think it's just been hanging from my wardrobe for 7 years. I don't actually think I've ever tried it on. So I'm hoping it fits tomorrow when I try it on the first time and I wear it for the first time. Hopefully not the only time, but probably certainly for the first time since I bought it. And I'm going to this wedding reception in my Starfleet uniform. And I'm meeting people who I've played D&D with for like 2 or so years now. I can't remember. Or 1.5 years or almost 2 years now. And I've never met anyone in person, so I'm actually kind of excited. But the point I'm trying to make is there's not going to be a Agatha Long reaction today. And I'm one of them who's not from Newcastle. I'm going to show them around Newcastle tomorrow. So I probably won't have time to do it tomorrow either. And then Sunday I'm going to Comic-Con Northeast. So and I was originally gonna. I'm talking for too long now. I'm gonna have my credits. Well, originally I was gonna go and meet Christina Chong, who is in Strange New Worlds, but she pulled out, and also so did what's her name? Oh, she plays the character in Buffy. Oh, I'm blanking, but she pulled out as well. But I'm seeing a few actors. You don't care. I'm gonna go. Thanks for tuning in. I should probably do something else in my life. Okay. Bye, 30 odd people who watch this video for some reason. Goodbye.